2005, in a quiet village, lived a man named Sultan. To support his family, he had gone to Saudi Arabia, where he worked as a laborer in construction. One day, the village received shocking news. Sultan had died. Later, it was learned that he was working on a new building project. He was inside a deep excavation site, tying steel rods together. Large rocks were scattered around the top of the pit. Suddenly, without any warning, a heavy rock rolled down and directly hit Sultan on the head. From that height and with that weight, he died instantly at the scene. Sultan's body was brought back to Bangladesh after about 3 to 4 months. From Shah Jalal International Airport, it traveled a long distance before reaching his village, Dari Chandrabari in Tongile. By then, the body had been preserved in a frozen state for a long time. People were worried that keeping it outside too long before burial could cause problems. Many suggested that the coffin should not be opened. But the family had one wish. They wanted to see him one last time. People tried to convince them, saying the condition of the body was too severe due to the accident and not suitable to see. Still, the family insisted. Finally, despite all warnings, the coffin was opened. When they saw his face, everyone was terrified. The damage from the heavy rock was beyond imagination. His head was in a horrific condition. After that, he was buried in the village graveyard. Just 3 to 4 days after the burial, strange events began. The first incident happened with Sultan's father. One night after Isha prayer, he was walking home from the mosque. The graveyard was located on the path between the mosque and their home, where Sultan had been buried. It was late at night. He was walking alone when he suddenly felt like someone was throwing small stones at him from the roadside. He stopped and looked around, confused. At first, he got annoyed, thinking someone was playing a childish prank on an elderly man. He shouted, "Who is throwing stones? Who's there?" But there was no response. Then he looked toward the graveyard side. In the darkness, near a large tree, he saw a tall, shadow-like figure standing there. This made him angry. He thought it must be local boys playing tricks, so he decided to go closer and confront whoever it was. As he approached the tree, he suddenly froze. The shadow figure he saw was not a stranger. It looked like his own son, Sultan. The shock was so intense that he collapsed on the spot and lost consciousness. Later, villagers found him lying unconscious on the road and took him home. When he regained consciousness, he told everyone that he had clearly seen Sultan standing there. But people around him tried to calm him down, saying it was probably just a trick of the mind or a shadow in the dark. The next day, another incident occurred. Some villagers who worked far away were returning home by bicycle at night. Around 10 p.m., one man was riding alone in complete silence. Suddenly, his bicycle stopped as if something had grabbed it from the front. With the sudden force, he was thrown about 10-15 feet away. He got injured in several places. When he slowly stood up, he saw something that made his blood run cold. Right beside his bicycle stood a tall shadow figure. He couldn't think or analyze anything. He screamed and ran away in panic. The incident spread quickly in the village, but many people dismissed it as imagination or an accident caused by the uneven dirt road at night. Still, the man insisted he clearly saw the shadow figure. The third incident was even more disturbing. This time, it wasn't a bicycle, but a motorcycle traveling on the same dirt road. It was around 10 to 12 at night. One of the riders was Russell, along with another person. As they crossed the graveyard area, the same strange event happened again. It felt like something suddenly pressed against the front of the motorcycle. The bike stopped instantly. Both riders clearly saw a tall shadow figure in front of them. The moment they saw it, the motorcycle lost control and they both fell. They were seriously injured and had to be rescued. Later, when the motorcycle was recovered, everyone was shocked. The front wheel was completely deformed, twisted into a shape that looked like the number 4 or an 8. No one could explain how such force could cause that kind of damage in an open, empty road. At that point, Russell began to think deeply. All incidents had one thing in common. Every time, they happened near the graveyard, and every time, the same shadow figure appeared. People slowly started connecting the incidents to Sultan. Especially the first event with his father made them wonder if what he saw was also that same shadow. From then on, people became afraid to travel that road at night. Anyone passing near the graveyard late at night claimed to feel or see something unusual. Interestingly, the situation had one unexpected effect. Nighttime theft in the village almost completely stopped. No more stolen jackfruits, bananas, or chickens. Thieves simply stopped coming because nobody dared to pass that area at night. But at the same time, normal life became restricted. After evening, the streets would become empty as people stayed indoors out of fear. Eventually, the villagers consulted a religious scholar. After listening to everything carefully, he said there were some issues with the burial process and funeral rites. According to him, everything had not been done properly according to Islamic procedure. It was also discovered that the person who led the funeral prayer did not fully know the proper rules. The scholar then suggested that although the burial was already done, the community should perform a proper absentee funeral prayer, Gayabana Janaza, again with a qualified scholar, as a prayer for the peace of Sultan's soul. So the villagers gathered and performed a proper Gayabana Janaza. After that, things slowly began to change. The strange incidents around the graveyard stopped happening. The eerie atmosphere of the night road faded away. Since 2005, up to now, those specific events have never happened again. Only normal small village incidents occur, but the chain of events connected to Sultan never returned.